The demon Greed descended upon Sanctuary, filling the hearts of its heroes with evil. Those that pledged their fealty to her gained Greed's boon, allowing them to gain power through the use of coin. She granted them legendary gems of unimaginable power, boosting their strength, but also corrupting their hearts. But I knew a truth that many did not. There was a way to withstand the onslaught of Greed's infinite power. The architects of Sanctuary, the mysterious Blue Horadrim, held the power to overthrow oppression and shake off the chains of bondage that we currently endured. Even so, Greed's influence on our domain was ever present, but perhaps the erosion of her influence could give some solace to the defenders of Sanctuary. Dear Blizzard, right now Diablo Immortal has some major problems, and the biggest one is oppressive caps. These are gameplay systems that are supposed to reward the player, but then right now they mysteriously just stop working after only a small amount of gameplay. Let's talk about how to fix these, and if you're new here, subscribe for Diablo content down below. Now the first and biggest problem is the completely oppressive Paragon cap. Right now, this is how it works. If you are below the server Paragon level, you get bonus XP to catch up. And if you're above the world Paragon level, you get an XP penalty. I don't think anybody has issues with the catch-up mechanic right now for players that fall behind the world Paragon. As a community, Diablo Immortal streamers and content creators recognize that this is a mobile game built for more casual players. And that's good. I think below server Paragon bonus is in a good place. It's the above server Paragon penalty where the problems surface. The above server Paragon gives absolutely no room for grinders to enjoy the game at all. Now here's the numbers. If you are at the world Paragon, you earn 100% of your base XP value. If you're 1 to 2 levels above, you earn 80%. 3 to 4 levels above, 60%. 5 to 6 levels above, 50%. 7 to 8 levels above, 40%. 9 to 10 levels above, 30%. 11 to 12 levels above, 20%. And above this, it's actually theoretically impossible to gain more levels. Now, this range is extremely oppressive, and this curve needs to be flattened out so that people can actually play the game in the long term. The game should reward engaged players instead of crippling them. Based on our thousands of hours of testing, we think that 12 above is the soft cap, even for earning the best, most efficient XP in the entire game from the most skilled players in the entire game. That number is far, far too low to be useful. So, here's what I think. The best, most efficient grinders should be able to earn up to 50 Paragon higher than the server cap. Now, this won't be easy, but this will reward grinders with an enjoyable way to play the game without getting too far ahead. Now, here's how I would do it. If you're at the server Paragon level, you earn 100% of the rewards. 1 to 5 Paragon levels above, 90%. 6 to 10 above, 80%. 11 to 15 above, 70%. 16 to 20 above, 60%. 21 to 25 above, 50%. 26 to 30 above, 40%. 31 to 35 above, 35%. 36 to 40 above, 30%. 41 to 45 above, 25%. 46 to 50 above, 20%. And 51 and above, 1%. In other words, it's effectively a hard cap. Now, the numbers alone aren't the only oppressive thing here. Now, why the heck is this XP bar red? Blizzard, this isn't a traffic light. It's an XP bar. The red color is saying, hey, you suck, stop playing the game, you no-life scum. Instead of telling players that they suck for playing the game, tell them that they're awesome instead. Make the red XP bar a golden, shining god XP bar. Blizzard, there's so many things in the game that look awesome, so make this look awesome. Make players feel awesome for grinding. We should be celebrating players that are pushing the game hard and earning additional rewards. I think if the World Paragon system was engineered and designed in this way, that players would actually love it, because the infinite Paragon system in Diablo 3 isn't the right answer. But what about bots? I think this is largely a theoretical problem. First of all, being 30 or 50 Paragon above the World Paragon isn't giving you a massive advantage over the whales. Someone who drops $10,000 on the game is going to completely wreck you, even still with this system. And unlike Diablo 3, there's no infinite advantage here. Now, fixing this and getting this right is really important. People who play ARPG games want to earn XP to make their character stronger. That's the game. Putting a giant wall on that is the opposite of what the entire genre of ARPG games is about, and it makes people want to quit the game when they hit that wall. So, next let's talk about fixing quest reward caps. These are those open world quests that give you enchanted dust or yellow mats when you complete them. It's important to make these caps higher so people can enjoy open world farming. Right now, the cap for pop-up side quests, story side quests, purple bosses, cursed chests is about 5 per day. Right now, you can do open world grinding and hit this cap in 20 minutes flat. That's far, far too oppressively limiting. Each of these is on its own separate cap, which means you're trying to juggle all these every day in order to reach the cap, because every ounce of dust that you get is important. So, in order to fix this, first, let's raise all of these caps to 20 instead of 5. I think at 20, that 2 to 4 hour a day player is unlikely to encounter the limit on these. And if they like open world grinding, that they can continue to enjoy rewards from these for a long time each day. Second, give players a quick notification when the cap is reached. Use the same kind of not-in-your-face notification that you use when someone summons Zoltan Kuhl's Golem, for example. You don't want a giant pop-up in someone's face. You want to say something like, rewards from cursed chests complete. You don't need to tell players how many they had to complete even. You may want to adjust this number in the future. But please, tell them that it's worth their time to go do a different activity. One of the strengths of Immortal is the variety of gameplay, and you should be promoting that. Third, and this one is important, allow the cap to roll over and add up for up to 3 days. Some players tend to play games on the weekend rather than during the weekdays, and they'll want to play a lot on the weekends. Give them that extra wiggle room, just like you do for bounties, contracts, and daily activity rewards. Honestly, this is just making these hidden caps consistent with your other systems in the game so that they're more well refined. Okay, real quick, editor echohack here, editing the video right now. I just discovered that the story side quests have all been moved to the Adventure Seeker. I didn't realize that's what had happened before. So actually there is a fix here on the Adventure Seeker. So the story side quests give you 3 story side quests, and at the end you get only 6 yellow mats. So I think that's wrong. I think you should be getting 9 yellow mats. So Blizzard, please update the end of the story side quests to give you 9 instead of 6 yellow mats. Thanks. Now, there's one more thing for quests that needs to be desperately fixed. When you're in a party and one of your party members gets a new quest, it throws a giant modal pop-up window in front of you and asks you, "Do you want to join this quest?" Please get rid of this entirely. It ruins gameplay. Just automatically get everyone in range to join their quest 100% of the time. If you don't want to do the quests, you can just leave the quest area. Okay. Now, let's talk about fixing Blacksmith Upgrade Paragon limitations. Right now, when you go to the Blacksmith, it is completely impossible for you to make any progress on your upgrades due to the Paragon wall. Blizzard, I understand that you don't want casual players to feel left out from the grinders who are pushing these upgrades early. So, I have a simple and fun solution for you. Does anybody remember Encourage from World of Warcraft Vanilla? When a player reaches one of these Blacksmith Paragon walls, they should be able to unlock it early for the entire server and skip the Paragon wall by contributing materials. This would be an extremely fun and hype event for entire clans to rally around. Hey everyone, blast your upgrades to rank 6 and start contributing mats to unlock rank 7. Then we'll do rank 8. Let the players earn their way ahead of these ridiculous walls. Then, the casual players won't feel left out. There will be chat and world chat, and the entire server will be pushing to unlock these early, even for casual players. This way, everyone gets to take part in something bigger. You should also give a small reward or title to the clan that contributes the most to the effort. This would give bragging rights to those who are truly active in the game and earning the server the right to upgrade to the next level. Now, I recognize this is more than just adjust some numbers, so this will probably be something that you might have to do in the future. So I'd like to propose one additional hotfix solution for right now, because these Blacksmith Paragon walls are extremely terrible. So right now there's a vendor in Westmarch that allows you to convert your materials to enigmatic crystals. The conversion ratio on this is so bad that it's never, ever, ever, ever worth it to do it. It's 4,000 scraps for one enigmatic crystal, which is really super incredibly terrible. But I'd never, ever, ever make that trade. But if you fix this ratio to be more attractive, that would at least give grinders something to work on. I would say make this trade 10 times cheaper, and that would be still a bad deal, but it would give people something to work for. So, to be clear, this would be 400 scrap material for one enigmatic crystal, 40 enchanted dust for one enigmatic crystal, or 4 glowing shards for one enigmatic crystal. Giving these ratios, you might be able to earn 5 or so enigmatic crystals in a day if you are blasting extremely hard. That's not even enough for one upgrade. It will still take you a very long time to grind out your upgrades, but at least you're making some measurable progress now. Okay, now let's discuss the limitations about equipping gear at a higher Paragon tier. I think if you have the gear, that you should be able to equip the gear. This means that if you're able to somehow find a way to defeat extremely difficult monsters early on higher difficulties, that you should be able to immediately equip the gear upgrades. But you shouldn't be able to benefit from the full primary attributes on those upgrades until you hit the Paragon requirement. In other words, let's say you're Paragon 20 and you equip a Paragon 30 item. Then the amount of primary attributes that you benefit from on the item is the Paragon 20 number. Then as you gain Paragon, you'll be able to benefit from more and more of the primary attributes until you unlock the full 100% attributes on the piece of gear when you hit Paragon 30. This will stop the stash of sadness problem where, if you look at my stash, it's currently full of upgrades for the next level, and I just have to wait to equip them all at once. And also, my stash is entirely overflowing, and it's completely full. All right, now let's briefly mention a couple of hidden caps that Blizzard does do correctly, but need a small notification somewhere in the game. There's currently a DR, or diminishing returns on the number of legendaries that you can get per day. It appears to be about the first 6. After that, the legendary drop rate goes back to a normal amount. I actually think this specific hidden cap is tuned correctly, but it's surprising to players. So instead, there should be some buff or notification somewhere, anywhere in the game, that lets players understand what's going on here. The same applies to the 4-player buff for normal gem drops. There's also a DR diminishing returns for these normal gems at 6 per day, still allowing you to earn them at a severely reduced rate beyond this. I think this is well balanced as well, but the game simply doesn't tell you about this cap or the DR. Please inform players somewhere, anywhere, even in a super secret hidden menu that you have to tap the eye on the character sheet about these caps. Okay, hidden layers. I used to love hidden layers in the alpha and the beta of the game, and now they're pretty uninteresting because of the hidden cap for normal gems on them. I think this normal gem cap is actually in a good place at 6 per day, but you don't have any other good reason for doing layers after this. In practice, this means you only have to do 1 or 2 layers to hit the cap. This is ridiculous. So, there's a couple of small fixes here, I think, to make layers more interesting again. First, increase the XP from the mobs in the layers. Right now, it is an XP loss to enter a layer from doing any normal kind of farming. I believe the current XP numbers in a layer is about 1/3 of that of the normal overworld. Just simply remove this reduced XP and make them worth their full XP value. There's no reason to handicap the XP in layers at all, even considering the density. There are dense areas in the overworld that are even better than layers. Now second, let the events inside of layers also drop 3 yellow mats, up to the 20 cap that I previously mentioned. This would offer folks a healthy number of layers to benefit from per day, beyond just the gem cap, and have a good reason for doing them. This would still have a cap, but the cap will be large enough so that people aren't being choked to death when they try to do more than just 1 layer per day. So, world event schedules were significantly changed around from the beta, and I think this is largely a negative change, although there's a couple of positives here. So let's talk about these different events and how to fix them, because in a way they are also kind of a cap in the game. Now, all of these events need a few important things. First of all, the PC client needs an in-game clock that follows the server time so players can understand when the events are coming up. Second, An in-game calendar system, similar to what Lost Ark has, would be very nice to have, as players don't even understand when and where the events happen, and it's even easy to forget if you are a very experienced player. I miss events all the time, and I have 1,200 hours in the game. Now, let's talk about the individual events themselves. First, the Haunted Carriage, aka Pizza, and the Ancient Nightmare are now reduced to being twice a week. Both of these events are effectively the same idea. Kill a boss, get 6 yellow mats, and a good chance at a legendary item. But I think that you should be able to do one of these two events at least 3 times a day, each day of the week. I'd suggest also adding additional Haunted Carriages so that it's 4 days per week, and Ancient Nightmares 3 days a week, for a total of 7 days a week between the two events. Second, the Demon Gates and the Realm of Damnation are 3 days per week at 3 times per day. While these events are broken right now on many servers, I've heard a few people have gotten them to work and that the rewards are 1 normal gem. If this is true, then I think 3 days per week is actually a good place to be for this event. Third, the Ancient Arena is currently only 4 days per week at 1 time per day. This is far and beyond the most popular event, and players sorely miss it. I think this event should be at a minimum 2 times per day, 6 to 7 days per week. Even though many people might not get anything at all, most people just enjoy the arena just to have fun, and it's some of the most interesting moments I've personally had in Immortal during all test cycles and even now at launch. Fourth, let's talk about the Library of Zoltun Kulle events. Here's how this works. You can gather pages in the Library of Zoltun Kulle once you're level 60, and when you get 5 pages, you make a tome. You can open the tome and enter a treasure room, and you fight the monsters, and if you win, you get a chest. There are several different treasure rooms, and which one you get is random. So you can get 6 to 8 yellow mats from each of these treasure chests. Each treasure room is independently limited to 5 times per day. But since you can't select which room you get, practically speaking, you're limited to about 15 books per day. Now, you can also randomly spawn world bosses for the Golem and the Hydra in the library, and those will also give you 6 yellow mats. Okay, so I actually think the library pages are in almost the right place. It simply needs a notification for when the rewards from one of the treasure rooms is capped. This way, players actually understand that they should move on and go do another activity. Grinding out pages all day, every day, should not be the only way to play the game. But it's important for players to understand that they should just go do something else. Finally, let's briefly mention Darkwood and Frozen Tundra. I think these events are not optimal, but still sometimes worth doing and fun. And I think they're probably in a good place for what they do. All right, let's talk about Fading Ember. The new Fading Ember cap in release is a welcome change to the game, but I think it's too low. There are only 2 pools for players right now. There's the Big Kids pool, where all the whales get to free swim, and there's the free-to-play kiddie pool. But the current cap feels like Blizzard is drowning us in the kids pool instead of letting us enjoy the kids pool even a little bit. So, it's impossible for free-to-play players to even get 1 22 Fa rune craft per week. I think players should be able to do at least 2 22 Fa rune crafts per week. Currently, the Fading Ember weekly limit is 200, with the weekly bonus limit at 120, for a total of 320 Fading Ember. This is ridiculous, because you can't even do 1 craft per week. What a joke. Instead, I believe the total Fading Ember cap should be 792. Let me explain. 792 is exactly 2 22 Fa rune crafts per week. This would be really fun, and it would also get players engaged more than Elder Rifts. In fact, I would guess that this might even be better for Blizzard's pocketbook too. I think players that have fun running Rifts without crests will always have that one person who wants to run some extras. So I don't really see the loss here. Now also, let me be clear. Do not ninja nerf rune costs, drop rates, and other balance changes in favor of this change. I think that the rest of the rune crafting system is actually in a pretty good place and should not be changed right now. But currently, free-to-play players simply have no real way to earn those extremely rare 5-star legendary gems, and that they should have at least 2 chances per week, which is still infinitesimally small, to get an extremely rare question mark out of 5-star legendary gem. Okay, finally, let's talk about the Shadow's Global Marks daily cap. Currently, this appears to be a total of 100,000 marks per day from the Shadows collectively. Having a cap on this system doesn't make much sense. It disengages players from pushing their marks as hard as they can in order to progress the cycle of strife, and instead makes it something that just automatically happens if your server has enough population. Instead, I would suggest something similar to how Paragon levels work, in order to make this a soft cap instead of a hard cap. I understand the needs to somewhat limit the Shadows so that the cycle has a healthy startup time. So there's a few fixes that you could do here. First, when the Shadows hit 100,000 marks, instead of just sending all the marks gained per day into the void, contribute them at a lower rate. Perhaps something like this. 0 to 100,000 marks per day. Full contribution. 100,000 marks to 120,000 marks. 70% contribution. 120,000 marks to 150,000 marks. 30% contribution. 150,000 plus marks. 10% contribution. This way, players in the Shadows don't feel like their marks are completely worthless after a certain point in the day. Secondly, fix the display of the progress in the stages. This display does not tell the player the full story. Now, we currently believe that this number actually represents the number of marks that the server has earned per day divided by 10. But it's very, very difficult or even impossible to test what this mechanic is even actually doing. So please, make this mechanic far more transparent so players feel like they're connected to the larger battle going on between the Shadows and the Immortals. As a player, I want to deeply understand how my contributions to the Shadows are progressing the war effort. Otherwise, I feel disconnected entirely. Alright, anyway, that's it for this one. A bit of a heavy topic today. Blizzard, please tell me what you think. You know how to reach me. For everyone else, please let me know in the comments down below. Do you have any other ideas for fixing some of the oppressive caps in Immortal? I think if Blizzard listens to feedback and actually implements some of these changes, it will rescue the game from the clutches of greed and her minions. Anyway, I'll be waiting in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!